I think the most effective way to learn is to really dive in on doing the action necessary. So get into the action itself, do it. You've kind of got a little bit of theory on the theory is the doingness, the details, the why it's done. And then the practical is actually getting in the trench and doing the action. So mix those two things together. So, start out your day with a little bit of the theory, like, what do I say to this, this, and this? Practice that a little bit, because practicing it coming out of your mouth is different than actually thinking it or hearing it. It's like one thing to be able to say, I'm going to go up and I'm going to say, hey, John, how are you doing? Guy walks on the lot, I say, hi, my name's Griffin, and yours? My name's John. Hey, John, you just looking today? Yeah, I'm just looking. Perfect. Were you looking for something bigger or smaller than what you currently have? Would you like a light, medium, or dark color? 2-door, 4-door. Those are things that you could just roll out versus the salesperson that walks up and hands the person a card and says, I'll be over here if you need me. These are all things that you practice, drill, and rehearse. And that way, when you say it to the person, they're like, dude, I'm dealing with somebody who knows what they're talking about. But the only way you're going to ever be able to do that is by having done it maybe 100 times. So you get on the phone, have fun with it. It's a game. These people can't hurt you. They can't hurt you through the phone. They can't do anything to you. They'll probably never meet you, even if they become your best friend. So just have fun with it. Niceness and positivity will always trump negativity and negative emotion. And people want to be right. Innately, people want to be correct. So making them wrong for what they do or have or want is never going to be a helpful solution, because people would rather be right than admit they were wrong. Like, people would rather die than be wrong, because to be wrong is really the ultimate low, because the furthest level that you can be down is to be dead. And the furthest level you can be up is to be surviving with abundance, such as you're not on a shortage of food, money, your family's doing well, no one's sick, you live in a nice house, you have all the things that you need and want. That would be up here. And then somewhere down here might be like, I live on the street, I can barely scrape by, I don't have my food. And then you're dropping slower and lower and lower until you die. So rightness and wrongness works this way, where the ultimate level of right is ultimate abundance and survival, and the ultimate level of death of wrong is to be dead. The furthest wrong you can be is dead. The furthest right you can be is surviving at the highest level. So that's how people are with every little thing that they deal with, like their coverage that they have. You don't want to say, oh, that's terrible coverage that you have. I say, congratulations on having coverage, because I talk to a lot of people who don't even have anything. So good job doing that. Now, let me just tell you, and it's not even your fault. You may have been led to believe that it was one thing, or they didn't tell you, and that's not your fault. You don't do this all day, every day. And they'll be agreeing with you and yeah and usually that kind of stuff. And I never once said they were wrong for having Globe Life, Colonial Penn, Lincoln Heritage, or Mutual of Omaha if they were on a 2-year wait and they didn't need to be, or if they were having every 5 years the term renews. They're not wrong for doing that. That was the best decision that they made at that time with the data that they had. If they had the data that I had, they would have made a better decision. But they don't do this for 40 hours a week. So how could they have had all the information? And how could they be interested? You haven't had any information necessarily to be interested in. But I'm here to be nice to you. I'm here to give you information. I just want to help. I'm a state licensed field underwriter. My job is to go over the features of the programs for you. I'm here to determine eligibility, and then I'll apply for you if you're interested. All I do is ask a few easy health questions to see how many discounts that we can get for you. And the advantage of talking to me is I'm going to compare all the rates with over 50 of the top carriers in the nation. I'm going to give you the best coverage I can out of all of them. And then I'm going to save you the time and hassle of having to shop around and make sure that you are getting the best coverage. And most people don't even know what coverage they have. So kind of get in there with them, try to talk to somebody who will actually allow you to talk to them. But you have got to have enthusiastic. You don't have to be like, oh yeah, Bottled enthusiasm. Hey, John, how you doing today? My name's Griffin. I don't have to be all, I don't have to be all, rah, rah, rah. I'm not here to be a certain like freakish person, but it's called bottled enthusiasm. You can tame the emotion. Hey, John. Hey, Susan, how are you doing today? You come into them sharp as a tack. You got to be enthusiastic, bottled enthusiasm. Sharp as a tack. You know exactly what you're saying because you have 4 to 6 seconds at the beginning of that to capture their attention. So take advantage of every conversation and maximize it as far as you can go. And then if you just can't get anywhere, given it everything you had, write down where you failed on a piece of paper and then move on. And then at the end of the day, maybe you'll have 6 things on a sheet of paper of failures. And hey, this is what happened. I think I went wrong here. But in the beginning, there's probably 15 things that went wrong. You may have stumbled too many times. You may have said their name wrong. Maybe you weren't as nice as you could have been. Maybe you didn't know what you were talking about. Maybe they felt that you were uncertain. So just try to fix all those things the best you can, get a little bit better each day, and you will find a person who just is like, hey man, what's up? Yeah, I do. I've been needing some coverage for a while. I've been needing some coverage. And they'll just they'll just walk down the street with you. They'll be there the whole time, and you can mess up 15 times and you'll get that deal anyway. And so really showing up is one of the biggest things that's worked for me. I mean, no matter what it is you've got to show up, because if you're not there, how in the world are you ever going to expect to get anything done? You have to be there. I've gotten deals that were easy, and I got them just because I was there. I was there to take the call. I was there to answer. I was there when the person reached out. And because of that being there, it worked out. And I got an easy deal that anybody could have gotten. But because I was there, I got it. And then, with a little bit of skill, you're going to push those people that I call are on the line. They can go this way, they can go this way. And your ability will then determine which side they go to, whether it's a yes or a no. There's so much information and so much you can get good at. I just try to pick something, work on that, get a little bit better, and just become an expert at what you're doing. Become the best that you possibly can be at this, because if you can't get good at this, how are you going to perform when you get to the next thing? And by the way, if you can do this, you can do just about anything, because we're talking to people that are 50, 60, 70, 80 years old, our parents and grandparents' age, and your ability to help these people solve this problem is going to be directly proportionate to your ability to get other people to solve any problem. That if you can't help these people solve this problem that they're interested in or were interested in at one time, then how are you going to solve anything, anywhere, in any business? Because right now, believe it or not, the generation that we're dealing with on the phone today in 2020 is the largest generation that this country's ever seen. They were the ones that bought the Mustangs in the 60s and made it the #1 selling muscle car back in those days, in the late 60s and early 70s. And then also when those kids that were teenagers buying those muscle cars, the biggest commodity before that, 10, 15, 20 years before that, was diapers. Whoever was selling diapers in the 40s and 50s made a killing. And whoever was selling cars in the 60s was making a killing. And whoever's selling life insurance and health insurance right now to the 10,000 people per day that are turning 65 is going to make a killing. And then because you build up this pipeline, before you know it, their kids are going to be 50, 60, 70. They're going to need the same exact thing, because kids tend to somewhat go down the pathway of their parents in some fashion. Not always. Obviously, there's all kinds of different directions you can go. But at some point, I think a lot of people follow in their parents' footsteps, or there's an outlier. There's someone who completely goes off a different pathway, and that person's probably not in our demographic or our target market. They're not our customer. Anyway, I hope this video finds you well. I'm trying to deliver as much content as humanly possible for everyone to be as successful as they possibly can. The beautiful part about my job is that I get remunerated to the degree that I can help other people, whether it be an agent or it be someone that